So I want to introduce, every year across America, each classroom in the city of Portland has a special guest team that come in. And this year, this is the first time Mr. Harris has been here at Hall School. So we've had other, sportscasters and Portland Public School employees, and even Mark Madison has read a time or two. But today we have a special presenter, basically because we're kind of, our theme is we're studying the parks, national parks, including the ones in Maine and in other parts of the country. So I'd like to welcome Forest Ranger, Mr. Harris.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to start out, before I start reading, I want to see what you guys might know a forest ranger does. You've been doing some studying, I understand, so, and I'll qualify that with, we are not park rangers, but we're similar. Okay, I like the hand raising. My wife's a teacher, so I'm used to this. In the back over here. Give me your name and your question.
My name's Deluca, and they tried to tear down the Everglades.
A forest ranger?
No, I'm talking about the Everglades National Park. This is what? Huh?
This is what I would be doing in the state of Maine, which is similar to the parks, which are national. They cover the whole United States. I'm going to be specific to the state of Maine.
You try to make sure that the nature in which you are exposed, or whatever it's called, is safe, and that people visiting there follow the rules.
That's correct. That's correct. We're providing some safety, make sure that the land out there is managed or worked appropriately so that you guys can enjoy it as well. We work for you, the people of Maine. Anybody else?
Like, let's say a litter bug just came by, ate some chips, and left the plastic bag there. You would, like, put up signs saying, use trash cans provided, or bring home your trash, or stuff like that.
That's correct. Very, very, very on the mark. We do a lot of that in the state of Maine. Some people fail to bring their trash with them or dispose of it properly, and unfortunately we have to let them know they're the bad guy and we've got to address it.
You preserve the nature.
We preserve nature. That's correct. Sometimes we get confused with game wardens. They protect the wildlife. We protect the wildlife's home. And our main mission for that is against fire. A lot of fire has destroyed a lot of wildlife home or places for you guys to recreate, and that's our objective, is to protect that. Over here?
So is the book of Dr. Seuss, is it real or not real?
Which one?
Really about.
Which one? What book?
He hasn't read the books yet. So I think Ungum is wondering if the books that you're going to read, if they're real books or are they like fictional stories?
Oh yes, the books I'm reading are real. They portray to what I myself as a forest ranger and the other ones do in the state. And this is stuff, I wanted to bring stuff today that's real, that what we really do and what we are. Okay? So we'll get started. So you guys have been doing a lot of reading this week?
Yeah.
Mostly Dr. Seuss, I understand. My wife's a teacher, so I get this as well at home. Okay, this is a book. Does it have an author? Yes. We'll say Michael. I can't say his last name. But the title of the book is What It's Like to Be a Forest Ranger. And this book is based on the U.S. Forest Rangers, which we do similar stuff. Okay? A thin stream of smoke is rising from above the trees. Woods are burning. Everybody see that? Where they're showing a little bit of the smoke? I'll turn it. Everybody see that? A little bit of smoke rising up on the trees. The fire, started by some dried leaves, twigs, and grasses, is spreading fast. The rangers yell to the crew chief, "Let's make a fire break before the fire starts climbing up the trees." Does everybody see the fire up in the trees?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What's a fire break?
Fire break, that's a good question. Is there a chalkboard?
There's a whiteboard.
Well, remind me after, and I'll describe that to you. We'll get through the story first. Remember that thought. A fire break is a special way to fight a forest fire. The rangers form a line, they go to work, remove anything that might be in the way of the burn. They use shovels, chainsaws, and other hand tools when the fire reaches the fire break, cannot spread any further. So I'll draw that out for you and show you what we mean. The fire is under control, says the crew chief. It will soon burn out. The rangers breathe a sigh of relief. Many of them have worked on fire breaks before. For big fires, rangers use bulldozers to make fire breaks. They also use airplanes, helicopters to reach the fire that are burning out of control. Special fire rangers parachute down to the fires that ground crews cannot reach. They are called smoke jumpers. So this is all similar equipment that we have in the state of Maine. We have bulldozers, helicopters. We actually have 5 different helicopters on the state, so we can rotate them. We do not have any paratroopers or smoke jumpers. Those are out in the west. And we do use planes from Canada to help drop water as well. After the fire is out, the crew returns to the ranger station. "Good work, Ellen," says Jim Dayton to the lookout. "Thanks," Ellen replies. And what they're referring to is Ellen, who saw the fire, was up in a very high tower so that she could see the smoke. In the state of Maine, we still have fire towers, but they're not manned anymore. No one's in them. And we use airplanes. Certain times of the day we'll put them up to fly so we can see if there's any smokes. Yes?
If someone saw one, would it be safe to go up there?
No. Just like in your home when someone's playing with matches or you see a fire or something dangerous.
Fire tower.
Yeah, no, they would call it in and make one of us, the rangers or fire department, to go look at it because we've got the training, we know it would be safe. The head ranger smiles. Forest rangers do a lot more than fight fire, he says. Each ranger has special training to do many jobs. "Will you tell me about a forest ranger?" Bob asks. "Sure," said Jim. "Let's go into the ranger station." "All rangers must go to college to learn about forestry," Jim begins. "They all are trained in one of many fields." The head ranger pauses. "Do you like outdoors?" he says to Bob. "You bet." "Well, that's a good start," says Jim. "Rangers love the outdoors." Some rangers specialize in tree diseases and insect control. They inspect forests for signs of trouble. It's their job to make sure the trees stay healthy. Sometimes a ranger may spot a bark beetle in the trees. These insects eat through the tree bark and cause disease. Trees with bark beetles have to be sprayed. The rangers bring cans of pesticides into the woods. The pesticides will kill the beetles. It will not harm the living things. The rangers put on special protective gear. Then they attach spray guns to cans of pesticide. The rangers walk through the woods spraying every tree. Healthy trees are often used for lumber. These trees are called timber. The timber control is the job of other rangers. Timber control means that some trees must be cut down to allow other trees to grow. Rangers decide which trees to cut. They measure the trees to see how much lumber there will be. Then the trees to be cut are marked with white paint or some sort of paint. Do rangers cut the trees themselves? Asked Bob. No, says the ranger. Trees used for timber are sold to timber companies. Companies, lumberjacks do the cutting. And that's correct. We just inspect the harvests that go on in the state, and there's other people or contractors that do that.
What if there's no insects on the trees and you spray it?
Nope. If there's no insects, we wouldn't be spraying it. We
How
wouldn't.
do you know?
That's why we go out and look to find out which ones are. And a lot more of the stuff that we do in Maine is, if we sprayed, it would be done through the air, through aircraft, or the big companies would do it. Yes.
What job do you do?
We do a little bit of all of it. A little bit of all of it. We everything that I've been reading, we do some of it at some level to help out with others in the state, or whatever's going on in our particular area. Yes, sir.
How often a day are there fires?
This time of the year, there isn't very many, because the snow is covering the ground. But when we get into the summer months, the spring and the summer months, in the state, we can have as many as 1,000 fires in 1 year.
That is a lot.
Boy, what about in the month?
Let me continue with the story, then we'll open up the questions. Jim takes Bob on a ride through the forest. Many rangers specialize in wildlife, says Jim. They make sure wild animals have good homes in the forest. They plant trees. And they give the animals food and shelter. Now, this is where we're going to be a little different. In the state of Maine, we have game wardens that do this part of the job. Okay? Look, says Bob, there's a mother bear and her cubs. Each one is tagged and has a number, says the head ranger. Keeping track of forest animals is part of the job, too. And the wardens in the state do some of that. Some rangers in charge of grazing land for animals. This is land on which animals eat grass and roam free. In the western United States, the government owns a lot of land. Ranchers pay the government to let their animals graze on it. Cattle and sheep graze on the land. Wild animals eat the grass too. Rangers make sure that there's enough food for all the animals. They also check the soil to make sure that it is good condition. The most valuable resource in our forest is water, says Jim, pointing to the waterfall. Rangers must pay attention to the water needs in their area. They use special instruments to measure snowfall and how much snow melts. The melting snow tells the ranger how much water to expect on the ground. Water is important for growing things. And we do this. We measure snow depths to see how deep it is and what the water content will be. And we provide that to other state agencies, and they take those numbers and use it to see what water levels will be in the spring. Sometimes snow builds up on the mountain sides, Jim tells Bob. This may cause an avalanche or a serious slide. Rangers use explosives to make snow slide harmlessly down the mountains. We don't do this. We don't have this problem in Maine. This is something they do out west in the bigger mountains. Boom whoosh. Jim and Bob watch some snow slide gently down from the mountaintop. The mountain is safe now, says Jim. Bob sees two rangers ski away. Wow, says Bob, I had no idea that a forest ranger do all these things. Do you still want to be a ranger, Jim asks with a smile. More than ever, answers Bob. Well, says Jim, putting his ranger's hat on top of Bob's head, maybe someday you will. So we had some questions.
I wanted to know how much training it takes to be a forest ranger.
How much training? Well, what we do, I got some brochures I'm going to leave for the teachers to pass out. We require that you have a forestry degree or a fire background degree or a law enforcement degree to be a forest ranger, because all three of those we cover. But if you have a degree in any one of those, we would accept you into our program through the interview process. And then anything else you need, if you were lacking in, we would train you on the job. Yes?
Have you ever saved a real live bear from a real fire?
I may not have seen it, but I've stopped or helped put out a lot of fires that were in areas where bears would have lived. Black bears in the state of Maine are very skittish or very scared, and as soon as they smell you or see you, they're gone. So I can't say that I have, but I've saved their homes, so I can assume that I have.
You said you would draw a fire.
Yes. We have a mark. There we go. So in the woods, well, I got another book that'll show you some of the tools we use. But in the woods, if you have fire coming this way, what we'll do, if it's safe, sometimes the fire's too high for us to do that, so we have to get away from it to put in a break. But what we like to do is, what burns in the woods? Wood, grass, leaves and stuff. So what we'll do is we'll come in here with our tools, either a shovel and a rake and a chainsaw, and we'll cut out the wood, and then we'll take the shovel or like a grass rake, and we'll scrape away all the leaves and the timber litter and all the loose bark and everything. So we're right down to mineral soil, just like the playground out here. And then what happens when the fire gets to that point?
It's nothing to burn.
Right, there's nothing for it to burn, so it's not going to go anywhere. So that's all we'll put in a break. Now this break can be anywhere from 6 inches, you know, if we're out in short grass, to 3 feet if we're in tall timber. Okay, so that we can keep it. Sometimes it gets even wider, and we'll use bulldozers to put in very wide lines that you can almost drive a vehicle down. Does that make sense?
Why would you need to put in wide lines if it was like a super high fire?
Yeah, just think about how tall is a tree?
Like
Pretty
at
tall.
least 10 feet.
10 feet. Some of our white pine are 100 feet. So if you have fire in those trees, it could easily get across to your line. So you have to make the line a little bit wider.
I don't
Because
think
there's
so.
branches of
One at a time, one time.
If it was like a whole bunch of like little tiny trees, like that were like babies,
Yeah.
you could make like a 3
Right.
one.
So as the rangers go through the woods or the firefighters go through the woods, they're looking at the height of the trees, and they move the line in and out as they go so that they can put it in correctly so the fire doesn't get across it. Somebody was a question back here? Was that you?
I was going to add, because the higher the trees are, the more likely it is that the branches from other trees across the line
Exactly.
mesh with their branches.
Yes.
So that can cross the fire over.
Yes.
How big or how long does it take for like you to make the fire break, or how long does it take for the fire to be put out?
Well, that's where we have to do some pretty good planning. We look how fast the fire can move. They've clocked fire going 100 miles an hour, eating up ground. So you'd have to move pretty quick in front of that one, right?
Or you could just go like
So what happens is we watch, somebody's watching the fire all the time to let us know, because we don't want to be out front there and get hurt. So somebody's watching the fire and will let us know, but we try to get in before the fire does. And if it's low, like she talked about, we usually can get the break in around it and get it surrounded. But if it's real high, then it's going to be a little harder for us to do, and we'll try to get back and get it way out ahead of it. So when it gets there, they'll go out.
Has anyone actually got caught on fire?
Yes, unfortunately, some people have gotten hurt and got caught in fire.
How many fires in the summer can happen in a month?
It depends on the month. Sometimes if we get some really dry weather, we can have a lot more fires. If it's rainy, we won't have as many. So it really depends on the season and what weather we're getting. Those are big influences for us.
You're confusing me.
Okay?
Because you said that you're supposed to help the forest.
Yep.
But when you use the big bulldozers or something to take out the fires, you're not actually helping it because you're actually helping global warming take over the world.
Well, what we're doing is, the fire is coming. Now the fire, if we didn't stop it, do you think it would keep on going?
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is limit the damage that a fire will do. So we have to use bulldozers. We don't always, but if we have to, we use it, and it tries to limit the damage. There would be a lot more global warming with all the fires going without us putting them out, or damage to animals' homes or places where you like to recreate, than what that bulldozer line would put in. We don't use them all the time. We only use them when we need to. We try to, it's called a light hand on the land. We try to put out the fire with as little resources that we have to impact the environment, but at the same time controlling the fire.
Okay. How do you get the bulldozers out there?
Well, as you know, you'll see them going down the road on a flatbed. We'll truck them into those areas and then unload them and go there that way. Just like the contractors and the construction guys do, they put them on a truck and take them to wherever they need them on the job site.
And it's super
We do.
easy to find out where a fire's been because there's going to be a black spot.
Yes.
Well, bulldozers are pretty big, and what if there's a fire off the road where the trees are pretty thick? How do you get a bulldozer there?
Well, we have to start from a good, what's called anchor point. We have to start from a known thing. So we would be starting from the edge of the road. And there's a lot of different roads and trails in the state of Maine, so there's usually a place where we can jump off or get something there pretty easily.
I have something to add with that. If you didn't just put out the fire, there wouldn't be any trees.
Right,
It's
it's gonna keep burning. It's gonna be quite a bit of it gone.
That could mean you could.
What job do you do most out of all of them?
Do the most is the fire. We try to prevent the fire. I'm here talking today about my job and what we do for fire. So hopefully you guys go home and be really careful with fire. A lot of our fires that we have in the state are man-caused or people-caused. So if I can come here and educate you guys to be safe with fire, then that's my job.
How do you take down the trees fast enough before the trees set on more than usual trees on fire?
A lot of people. Usually when we have a crew, there's 20 people. And I've been on fires out west where we've had 3,000 people in camp fighting fire. So a lot of people get involved as the fire gets bigger.
How do fires start?
How do fires start? One cause is lightning. Okay, lightning will cause fires. The other 8, there's 9 causes. The other 8 are all caused by us, by man. From campfires that then get put out, to electric lines dropping on the ground and causing fires, to houses catching on fire and getting the woods on fire. Railroad trains sometimes cause fire. Some people actually deliberately set fires. People who drop cigarettes sometimes cause fires. There's a whole bunch of things, but there's really 2 causes: us as people and lightning. So we need to be really careful out there when we're around playing in the woods. You know, is all fires bad?
No.
No. What's a good fire? Oh, we're gonna raise hands.
Tiny fire?
What kind would that be?
Campfire.
Campfire. What else?
A fire that belongs in the fireplace.
Yeah, fire belongs in the fireplace. We live in northern Maine. It gets kind of cold up here if we didn't have one, right?
Stove fire.
A stove fire.
So you can cook your food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A fire on your
On the candles.
On your candles, yeah, so it's a celebration.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
A fire on the stick things. Where you put it on. Sparklers. Oh yeah, the sparklers.
Sparklers, but you need an adult with you when you're around those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you still got to be careful.
Those can get really hot.
Yeah, you got to still be careful with those.
Sometimes on that, those
And then I stepped on it again by accident.
The what?
And then I stepped on
matches.
Depends on the
The magic?
Matches.
Oh, matches, yes. But those are with adults, right?
Wait, how does fire get inside?
Fireworks, yeah. But there's an adult again with you, so there's what?
How do the matches work? Is there like, how is the fire
They
inside?
have like something on
Yeah, they have like something.
There's a spark involved. Just like when the woods catch on fire from a spark, the matches are specially made so that when you strike them, there's a spark that causes the material to ignite.
So is there something inside?
A what? A grill fire, yes. So another story.
Yay!
Okay, so it was asked of, if we got a lot of trees on fire, how would we get out all those trees on fire? Well, I mentioned that we get crews involved, okay? And the crews involved are called Hotshots, okay? We have lots and lots of crews across the United States.
So you're a hotshot?
Yes. It's a term, it's a definition or a term for a trained firefighter. And that's what they do. Some of your firefighters, they're trained in structure protection, putting fires out with houses. These guys are wildland firefighters that are trained specifically to put out grass or woods fires.
Actually, I have one more thing to add to what can cause a fire, but involves nature and man, glass bottle and sun.
That's still a man-made, because how did the glass bottle get there?
Oh,
We created
maybe
it.
lightning could strike some sand, and then we could put that glass into a place
It's either lightning or man.
for eventually.
The glass is there by us, right? We're the ones that created
Unless
we still created the glass. The animal didn't. So,
nature could create glass.
but if lightning is the source, then it's lightning caused. Okay, so this is what a hot shot would wear. We start out with a hard hat. What would that be for? Oh, we're going to raise hands. I'm going to call and raise hands.
To make sure that timber doesn't burn
Exactly.
your head.
Limbs and timber that does not hit you on the head. What about the goggles?
eye protection.
Eye protection. And what would it be from?
Ash.
Ashes. What else? Wood. What else?
Flying.
Who said it? Smoke. There's another thing. What would goggles protect you from?
Flying sparks.
Yes, flying sparks.
Stray debris.
Stray debris. I got one more thing I'm looking for.
Oh, the fire, it could hurt your eyes. And
Yep.
Smoke.
Smoke, we got that. What happens when you spray water? Anybody take the garden hose and spray it on something and it...
Makes it bigger.
Oh,
Water.
yeah, it's going to splash back at you, and then I heard it over here somewhere. Steam, yeah. So you got water going against a hot rock, going to create some steam. We've got a kerchief. Or no, it's around your neck.
Oh,
It's a cloth.
I know. So then you can put it over your nose and mouth. So then, and it's like very tough fabric, so it's not that easy to ignite.
What's it going to protect you from?
Ashes and embers.
And smoke. This is a Nomex shroud, and it goes on the back of the hard hat. What's that going to protect?
your head and hair.
Yeah, from
Fire. Ashes.
Yeah. Smoke. One more thing. What? Nope. Listen. What happens when you stand too close to a campfire? Oh! Raise your hand. Burn. So you protect you from the heat. I've got a portable radio. Call for help. Or what happens if I don't have enough people or I run out of gas on my chainsaw?
Call for backup.
Oh.
Use like a radio and call the person who has.
Right, I'm going to call for it to come in. It's going to give me a chance. Because what happens out there if I bring my cell phone?
No cell service?
Maybe no cell service. I may not be able to get it.
It might burn. It might
No.
burn. Then you
Okay, I got a fire rake. We'll get into some more tools here, but this tool to dig with. A Nomex shirt. Should have brought some of this stuff in. Nomex shirt.
Fireproof?
It's a fireproof shirt. Yeah, and they're usually yellow.
Yeah,
Fire-resistant gloves.
it protects you from
they so like if you put your hand down, it doesn't like get gone off. It's fireproof.
Right. Has anybody done any hard work and got blisters on their fingers? Yeah, so the gloves are going to help you from getting those blisters. It's going to protect your hands. We got a fire pack. In the fire pack, I'm going to have my lunch. I'm going to have some water. I might have a spare set of socks. I might have a first aid kit. Yeah, when you're working and your feet sweat, you got to protect your feet. You'll get blisters and you'll be in a lot of pain if your feet get blisters and you have to work all day.
But aren't socks not fireproof and then couldn't fire catch on them and then spread on them?
Well, what I'm wearing down here is fire-resistant boots, just like what I've got on. It's a leather boot that's going to protect me. Now, it still can burn, but it's going to be better than your sneakers, which are made of man-made products that can catch on fire real quickly.
And hurt.
And the other problem with that is they melt to your foot. They don't just burn, they melt to your foot, so they keep causing it to hurt. So we have some Nomex pants, and then in this picture they're showing a drip torch, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
A drip torch.
We'll talk about that in a minute. So, sparks from a train ignite a field, baked for days. And what they mean by that is it's been hot for several days.
Whoa.
So that everything is all nice and dry and crispy and it's ready to burn. Then the wind whips it into a fast running blaze. So you can see the fire here in different spots where the train has gone by, and it's probably from the exhaust of the train, or they put the brakes on, and trains run with steel wheels on steel rails, and steel on steel can cause sparks.
Flint and steel.
What?
Flint and steel. You basically strike steel and
No
steel.
flint, it's just steel on steel. With the fire now spreading out of control, so the fire's moving through the grass. It's got plenty of fuel, and it's getting ready to go. The Hotshots are called. They're ready to roll. And as being a hotshot, when the call comes in, you have 3 minutes to be all ready to go. So it's very quick response time because fire can move pretty fast.
What if you're not?
Then you're probably going to get a talking to from your supervisor.
Or you're probably going to get left behind.
On brush rigs and trucks, they head to the scene. So they're on their special trucks with lights and sirens going, heading to the scene.
Whoa. I see a bunch of fire.
Whoa.
Where the fire's now climbing deep ravines, so the fire's climbing and going faster. Police drive through the streets calling evacuate. For some people's homes, it's just much too late. The fire moved too fast and the homes catch on fire. And you see that sometimes in the news out west in California, lots of brush fires. A lot of people lose their homes. Chaparral explodes and jumps a side street. Now chaparral is just a particular type of brush. be like our cedar trees or fir trees. It's just a particular piece of tree or particular tree that grows out in the west. A wood shingle home torches off from the heat. While structure crews fight one raging battle, they're fighting the fire around the houses. The Hotshots race up to the ridgetop saddle. They're trying, see what I remember I talked about with the fire? They're trying to get ahead of it, trying to stop it. And they're going to try to race ahead of it, put in that fire break before it comes. A sky crane, which is a helicopter, swoops down to drop its water load. It carries water in the belly of the ship, and it'll drop it on the fire wherever it's needed.
But also, I read something about this, but they also dropped a special dirt to stop fire.
It's not dirt. It's it's like a foam. It's the same as the dish soap that you use to wash your dishes with. They mix it with the water, and what it does is makes the water cling to whatever they drop it on. So if they drop it on grass or trees or wood, the water stays there a little bit longer than if you just dropped water itself. But the fire jumps effortlessly over the road. With drip torches and fusees, shots race through the scrub grass. Now a drip torch is a little canister that holds about a gallon of gas diesel mixture. And do you know what we fight fire with? We fight fire with fire. So fire's burning stuff out, correct?
Yeah.
Well, when we go ahead of it, one of the fire breaks we use to stop fire is burn out the grass and stuff ahead of it. So when the big fire, the main fire gets there, there's nothing there to burn and it goes out. So we fight fire with fire.
When you use soap, like if deer was living there, wouldn't the deer go away because deer don't like the smell of soap?
It's a special soap that will evaporate as well. Okay?
Good.
They've done some research and it's supposed to be less impact to the environment. A 415 bucks through the thick smoke on a pass. And what they're referring to is this ship right here, this airplane. It carries water in its belly and it will drop water in front of the fire where the firefighters want it as well.
But don't use but what if you use it in a house? Won't that not help? Because you're putting fire on the fire, which will break down the building.
We don't set buildings on fire.
No,
Is that
like
what you
if
mean?
it's already on fire.
Oh, if it's already on fire, we try to get ahead of it where the grass is to put it out, not the building.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
What if you use one of those glowy, torchy things and put down the fire to burn up the place in front of the fire and start another fire?
Yeah, we're starting another fire that's going to work towards the big fire.
No, like a bigger fire and then the wind pushes it away, like to the direction that the original fire is going.
Yeah, if the fire goes towards the original fire,
No, away from you.
away from the original fire, well, there's going to be crews working there to either spray water or cut out another fire line. We don't just put fire down on the ground. It has to be next to something so that it won't go the other way. Fighting fire with fire, Hotshots create a backburn. So that's what it's called. If you fight fire with fire, it's called a backburn. And hope the wind-driven fire won't suddenly turn. So you can see you got the fire burning this way. They've got an area cleared out. So the fire is going to burn towards the other part, the main fire, where what they're trying to put out.
Those blower torchy thingies are like
Drip torch.
drip torches are like, or like,
It's like having a continuous match, because that's all they would use as a match.
or like a flamethrower going.
It just drips. It doesn't blow it out.
Oh,
It's just like having a continuous match, because every time you'd have to relight a match. So this allows them to go faster. While one crew digs a line into the right flank or the right side of the fire, a second scrapes dirt off in the opposite bank. So they're putting in a fire line. They've got a rake and a hoe and a pickaxe, and they're cutting the grass down, and they're cutting to bare mineral soil so the fire can't get away.
Oh, I should actually try practicing that in Minecraft. That would actually really work.
The radio crackles. Hey, get out of there. See, this guy's wearing a radio, and somebody's watching the fire and watching the crew, tells them to get out. As the flames spiral 60 feet into the air. So they're in a spot where they shouldn't be. The Hotshots drop their tools and deploy fire shelters. As the fire races up, heading straight for the break. So when we're out fighting fire, we carry something that looks like this. It's like an aluminum tent. And what it does is it reflects the heat and protects you if you should get into a bad spot that the fire's going to overtake you.
Is it really a tent?
Pardon?
Is it really a tent?
Yeah, it's shaped like a tent. It's like a
It
little...
looks kind of like
Well,
weird.
he's standing up in it, and what he's going to do is he's going to drop down, and it's hard to show in this picture, but there's a guy in this one. He's laying down, looks like a tent.
What if the fire like burns the hole in the ground, goes underground, and then burns the place where they
We have to dig it out. That happens to us sometimes because the fire will get into the roots of the trees, and it'll follow the roots of the trees and come up wherever the root comes up. So that's why when you dig the mineral soil, you got to dig down past the roots in order so it won't get by you.
like, what if it goes underneath where they are? Like, just
You got to dig it out. Got to dig it out. Otherwise, it gets away from you. A deafening roar, shelters snap violently. Wind blasts the tent sides with burning debris. The shots they press to the ground, and the fire attacks. Like a hot iron, the heat singes their backs. It's suddenly quiet. There's a calm all about. The backburn had worked, and the fire is out. Time to reload the tools and grab a quick bite. For the Hotshots, know there's more to fight. So we've got to be ready all the time. Okay? Does that help?
Yeah.